After 16 years in Ladakh, I wrote a book contrasting the old with the new. It was called Ancient Futures, and we made a film by the same name. These have been translated into over 40 languages. And from Bhutan to Peru, people have told me, the story of Ladakh is our story too. In Korea, the book rapidly became a bestseller. I imagine that this is because the Korean people had relatively recently undergone the rapid transition into high-rise apartments in the city. So people still had a living memory of a life that was more community-based and connected to nature. I received invitations from every continent to speak and teach, and I was in touch with countless grassroots organizations. I was also connected to political and business leaders. It became more and more obvious to me that these leaders were absolutely convinced that conventional development and growth were unequivocally beneficial. But they lacked direct experience of what was happening on the ground, and instead they were viewing the world through a haze of numbers. And these numbers were backed by assumptions that were not derived from the real world. At the grassroots, on the other hand, large numbers of people experiencing the social and environmental effects in their local communities were, and still are, resisting the conventional development path. They're fighting to protect forests and lakes, to oppose mega industries, to protect jobs, cultural identities and languages, and to help communities and individuals heal. At the same time, increasing numbers of people, especially those who've tasted so-called success in the city, are doing their best to step out of the modern consumer culture. Many of them are adopting practices that were more common in the past. Fathers carrying babies on their backs, young people choosing to leave their screen-based work to become farmers, informal networks of mutual aid, friends gardening, cooking, and baking bread together, families choosing to live on the land and developing relationships with the animals and plants around them. I call these new practices ancient futures microtrends because they mirror practices I saw in traditional Ladakh. These trends are reinforced by significant shifts in thinking. In many countries, respect for indigenous wisdom and a rejection of colonial ideologies are growing rapidly. There's a fascination with every element of the animal kingdom, a growing appreciation for all things vernacular, handmade, artisanal, local, and the emergence of alternative, more ecological practices in every discipline, from natural medicine to natural building, from eco-psychology to ecological agriculture. There are also countless efforts to build human-scale institutions that provide genuine alternatives to the large-scale, more anonymous institutions of a globalized world. Schools that protect local land-based knowledge, small businesses that care not only about profit, but also about ecological and social causes, community-owned renewable energy systems, local governance institutions that involve direct democratic decision-making. I describe many of these initiatives in our film, The Economics of Happiness. And more recently, we founded World Localization Day to celebrate and make more visible this worldwide movement. Central to all of this is the local food movement, growing rapidly on every continent and consisting of a wide range of food and farming projects tuned into soil health and human well-being. This doesn't mean a world without global trade or without cities or without some larger industries and technologies that really do benefit our lives. But it means insisting business be place-based, subject to the democratically determined rules of society and to the limits of nature. In terms of primary production, food, clothing, and shelter, it means shifting from a focus on large-scale production for a global market towards smaller scale, diversified production for local needs first. It means linking cities up with the regions surrounding them in more reciprocal economic relations and rapidly scaling down a global consumer culture based on using ever more energy and technology, because most of our governments continue to support a path of bigger is better, faster is better. We need to do everything we can to get the word out about the power of going local as a strategy to confront and solve our global problems. If we're serious about learning from indigenous wisdom, if we're serious about sustainability, and for that matter, if we're serious about our own survival, we need to come together to support small scale on a large scale.